I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Welcome to the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling Stadium Vernon. My name is Ed Scimia. I'll be here giving you the late night tiebreaker action from the Vernon Curling Club here in Vernon, British Columbia. The playoffs are set here, all except for the last spot, which is going to come down to this tiebreaker game. We have, with the Blue Rocks, the team of Cotter and Cotter. That's Jim Cotter and Jaelyn Cotter. They'll be taking on the team of Megan McGillivray and Sterling Middleton. And it looks like the McGillivray Middleton team is starting with the hammer here, as Cotter throws to the top four to get the action started. Both teams finished the round robin at 3-2. Teams with the best 8 records got in, so there were 6 teams at 4-1 or better. A 7th team with a 3-2 record also got in, leaving one spot, one playoff game only, for these two teams that are playing right here on your screen. And they are playing for a spot in the quarterfinals, which will take place at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning Pacific time. We'll have all the coverage here on Curling Zone and the Vernon Curling Club YouTube channels. Team Cotter with a rock in the top of the forefoot already as Jim throws his second. Looks like they're coming around the other side, looking to cut down access to the forefoot. And they get a stagger on there. Actually bumped their blue just a little bit. So 2 rocks they could potentially use to get to the McGillivray Middleton rock on the back of the forefoot. Already setting up a bit of a complicated end here. Sterling Middleton coming in here, trying to change the angles just a little bit. Rubs off both blue rocks to sit 4th or 5th. In any case, yellow still won, but blue is 2nd and 3rd with a couple different ways of getting towards this yellow rock. Now, I think they may be preferring the yellow-blue run here, as the yellow currently on the back of the button, much less likely to jam that way. It'll go out the right side on the overhead view there. If you tried to play your blue straight on that right side, you're likely to leave the yellow sitting back of the forefoot. Not a real problem, but looks like they're preferring to simply eliminate it this way. Looks like they want a little more curl on this. And Jaelyn has switched sides to get that curl. Gets the job done. Kicks that rock back to the back of the 8-foot, leaving blue sitting 1-2. However, there may be a nose double on that blue rock if you can get to nose with a little bit of weight. That'll remove both and leave yellow sitting 3. And I suspect that's what we're playing for here. Here comes the rock looking for a little curl. They are just looking to at least make contact here. It needs to curl up a bit. Should be all right now to eliminate one blue rock, at least to the point of getting it to 5th or 6th rock there. 5th rock, right? 6th rock. 6 rocks. There's 6 rocks in the house. It's late. But still leaves blue sitting 1 as there are 2 rocks remaining for both sides. It is a bit of a lonely blue rock there. Yellow is 2nd and 3rd. Draw coming in here. Looks like they're just trying to stack one on top of their counter right now. Maybe get a little tap on it at most. And they do get the freeze more or less, with maybe an extra inch of room there. However, it would be, if you hit that top blue, I don't think you could drag the second blue enough to remove it. No matter what, you'd be touching the back yellow, of course, but I don't think you'd be removing that blue at all. So instead, they're looking at playing a double here, Team MM, as I saw it referred to in chat. McGillivray and Middleton are looking at playing this little in-off double here, using that blue stone in the top 8. And it gets all 3 blue rocks moving. Excellent shot. Leaves yellow sitting 1-2. Nearly left them sitting 3. Nearly got that final blue rock on the one closest to the button at the start of that shot to spill out over the top of that yellow in the back 8. Not quite, but still a great shot. Yellow sitting 1-2. With Jaelyn Cotter's final rock of the end without hammer coming up here. Looking to wrap one around their center guard. Have to be careful where this is placed. Could leave a little yellow run for a relatively big end. Not badly placed there in the back 12. Back 4. It is counting. However, there is that short run, which may be for 3. It is tricky to get this for 3. Certainly a shot for 2 here. And with a very nicely controlled weight and not too much roll, you should be able to get that blue right through the hole between the two yellows. Most certainly, you're likely to hit the yellow on the right on the way by, but that's fine as long as you don't dead jam it. And if you make this right, the result will be 3 for yellow and a great start for the McGillivray Middleton team. Final rock on the way for Megan McGillivray. Looking to make this little raise for 3. Oh, a little jam there on the back. It is for 1. It looks like it's just for 1, although they may take a closer look at that yellow in the back. On the overhead, looks like 1 yellow, and yeah, there's not going to be a measure. That'll be a score of 1 for McGillivray, and Middleton take a 1-0 lead after the first end.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to the tiebreaker game here at the Mixed Doubles Super Series in Vernon, presented by Curling Stadium Vernon. I am here now joined by Sean Joyce. Welcome aboard, Sean.
Hey,
for
thanks.
some late night curling. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not too late for me. It's still not quite 10 o'clock yet, although it was supposed to be 10 o'clock when they started. I thought this is the thing when you're playing in a tiebreaker at night and you got to play again in the morning. You don't want to dawdle. They got at it quick here.
Yeah, I can't blame them. I've been in that situation before where both teams have just agreed to say, let's start a half hour early. Why not?
The ice is ready. Let's go, because whoever wins has to play tomorrow morning.
Yeah, those games are at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, Pacific time. So they'll have enough time to sleep off the game, but not much more than that. So, Sean, I don't know. What can you tell me about these two teams?
Well, having just logged on to find out who's playing, I can tell you more about the Cotters than I can about
Sure.
McGillivray and Skinter, isn't it?
Middleton.
Middleton, sorry. Played on the same team last year, but I'm getting the wrong guy. The Cotters, Jim and his daughter Jay, they've played for a long time. I mean, I did nationals actually for. It happened to be at my home club, so I did them the first year directly for Curling Canada, and the second year we did it for CBC, and that was 16 and 17. She was just a youngster, and in those days, well, she still is to me, but like 15, 16 years old, and both years, having seen them play, she made a couple of shots that were just absolute. They were highlight shots for the entire event, and even Jim was amazed. Now, Jim's always been an absolute gentleman anyway, but to play with his daughter, I'm sure it was a big treat, and I think it was a pretty proud papa to have everybody in the building talking about a couple of the shots that she made each year. So, this young woman has always been a fearless player and a very good player. Jim probably had to sweep more playing doubles than he was used to, but
Yeah, the only experience I have with any of the 4 players on the ice is I did play against Jim Cotter's team once out in Arizona, when in the years where he was playing with Steve Laycock and that group, and is one of the nicest people I've ever played on the ice, I have to say. Yeah, just as you said, a consummate gentleman.
Yeah, I've played against him a couple of times too, but it's, him based out of BC, me based out of Saskatchewan. It certainly didn't happen very often. But, enough that we know each other, and we'll stop to chat every time we get a chance. So I know I've had comments from before from him on our broadcast in Saskatchewan that he wishes BC had something. Now, that was a few years ago, and I think they are broadcasting their provincials now, but he was wishing then that BC had something like what we had in Saskatchewan. And,
you guys were always ahead of the times a little bit with the streaming there.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, it's just we happen to have a guy here that, and it's the guy I work with for the most part, is Gary Tarasoff. Started a website out here that actually predated Curling Zone and sold it off to the Provincial Curling Association, and they've continued streaming from there. So it's
I've always seen Provincials has a great coverage, or has for many years, I should say. Some of the other provinces now have that too, but for many years, it's out of Saskatchewan, we're able to watch some of the games.
He's just a competitive curler himself who's got a media background. Actually won Masters here the last 2 years. So,
well, we're halfway through the end. We have McGillivray and Middleton looking to play, I think, just down maybe a slight tap on that blue rock. Is that the shot call here?
I'm not sure. One thing is always a little tough to know what they're playing with the doubles, but I would think he's playing the little tap on the yellow and then try to sit on top of the corner of the blue. This looks like a straight draw, but
instead came up just a couple feet in front of that blue rock.
Yeah.
Leaves a lot of intriguing and useful angles for yellow here, but right now I do think blue is sitting 1. That's close. I'm actually not sure who's sitting 1.
Yeah, I would say it's the yellow at the back, but it's close. Jim was eyeing up. You could see him looking at it. Play the double on the top 2 yellows, and if you catch it right, the top yellow, it's going to make contact with the yellow, and in the top of the forefoot, come across the top of the blue one, and if you could just rub it, you could maybe push it up for shot rock, or if you hit it with enough force, maybe triple the yellows, which is awfully greedy.
Yeah. It's asking a lot, but if you're, as you said, if you throw the weight,
it's there.
It's on its way.
And even if you over curl, you're probably yellow onto yellow, which is what's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, blue rock slides out, but not a bad result there, because those 2 yellows are very vulnerable at the moment.
Yeah, it's a
having hammer here with blue. Having hammer here with blue. You're thinking, well, there's still a possibility for some scoring here, though you'll likely need a miss at some point to make that happen. Final rock of the end for Sterling Middleton on the way. 4th rock for the yellow team here. Removes the blue rocks. Sorry, no red rocks here. Moves the blue rock and rolls over a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to have trouble with that too. I had blue and red this morning in the men's game. I was calling it, now they're blue and yellow. Change the angle enough on those 2 yellows that it changes the double a little bit. They're close together, and I think he's playing the 2 in the forefoot. To hit the first one and get the second one and stick it right there, it's thinner than you think. Yeah,
probably easy to go just a little high on that second rock.
Yeah.
And you don't have to hit that much to do it. You know?
No, true, but you might even be able to get all three moving. You'd hit,
Yes.
if you're a little thick on the first one, you come across, catch the front edge of the second one and come up and actually touch the third one that way. Whether you can get it
so I
out
was
or not is another
wondering.
question. Actually got into the side of the second one.
Yeah,
Well,
and again,
It's a
leaving
really good
some
result,
danger
though.
here. Yeah.
Pushed it far enough
Blue
to
now
that stone
sitting-
at the back is third, so that's huge.
Blue now sitting second, third. Yellow with just one rock to throw and just one rock counting. So very lonely rock there. Big shot coming up here for Megan McGillivray. Where do you want to put this rock, Sean?
It's a tough call. Like they're looking at the guard, but how do you guard everything with one stone? Because they can pick the yellow directly if you guard the blue. If you guard the yellow, they can play the blue onto the yellow, and that's for 3. If you can't guard it well enough to stop them from being able to get a shot for at least 2 and maybe 3, maybe your best bet is to get another rock in, say, even the back of the 4-foot. If you draw to the back of the 4-foot, splitting the center line, he could play the, or pardon me, it would be Jaelyn playing the last one. She could play the blue onto the yellow, but her shooter wouldn't be in far enough to get second shot. It's really tough to make a good enough guard here to prevent them from getting at least 2.
Yeah, there are times in your standard 4-player team curling where the throwing a second one in, second shot ends up being the best guard. I think that ends up being the case a lot in mixed doubles, which is part of the reason why defense is a lot tougher in mixed doubles, because you're often forcing these draws to avoid giving up a big end late in ends. And I think that's where we are here, really.
Yeah, I don't think they talked about bringing this in. I think they're trying to play guard, and they spend all their time trying to figure out where can we put this to take as much away as possible. It's just, I don't think there's a way to make this so she doesn't have a shot for at least 2.
Well, this is coming
maybe,
back, for sure.
Maybe they are bringing it in. They might be trying to come right to the back one, though, and that still gives up a shot for 2. Stop it right there, and I don't know how she gets more than 1.
And as you say now, that takes away the possibility for 3, but still leaves a shot for 2, and a relatively straightforward one at that.
Yeah. Now, having said all that, I mean, it's not a gimme to put a stone at the back of the 4-foot, and everything's just a little trickier in the doubles than it is in the 4 players. And as much as 4 players, it's usually just one brusher going most of the time. Anyway, it's still different. You don't have anybody in the house calling line. You've got the thrower who sometimes their view is a little bit obscured by the brusher. A lot of us when we're brushing tend to get our feet behind the rock a little bit once in a while, and that can obscure the view of the person trying to call line. And if you're short, if you try playing that to the back of the 4-foot and you're a little short, it's a nose hit on the blue to double the yellows, and it's still 3.
Right. Final rock on the way here from Jaelyn Cotter here in the second end, looking to make a relatively soft hit here and stick for 2. Jim looks pretty happy, sweeping it in, and very nicely done. That'll be 2 for the team of Cotter. They'll take a 2-1 lead after 2 ends.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
All right, we're back here for the third end of our tiebreaker game here at the Mixed Double Super Series in Vernon, presented by Curling Stadium Vernon. Currently, Team Cotter up 2-1 after 2 ends, playing against the McGillivray Middleton rink here from Vernon. And it is the Team MM, as I heard it called in the chat earlier, with Hammer here in the third.
Just MM? You don't think they call them M&Ms? The M&Ms?
Yeah, you think, right? You would think
Yeah.
Team M&M.
Yeah. That just makes me feel snacky at this time of night.
As we see this draw come in, just a little bounce, unfortunately. Leaves it on the side of the button. But too early to remove it, so Cotter's will come in right on top of it. Probably wouldn't be upset if they pushed it slightly, but don't want to move it too far. Want to leave backing for their rock here.
Yeah, well, that's always the tricky part with the doubles, especially since the rule change. The rock originally used to be just behind the pinhole, and now it's the back of the button and part of the back forefoot. And it's when you start playing these freezes and taps, especially the team with last rock, it's, do I want to move that and make more room in the forefoot, or do I just want to freeze? So, you know, it's always a little early to tell whether or not it was a bad thing to move that. They certainly gave themselves more room in the forefoot.
Yeah, I was talking a little bit about that last night in the old days. You know, the original rules, the non-hammer team would make that first freeze, and
yeah,
boy, we're in for a tough end. Yeah.
How many are you going to steal? I won provincials here in 2015 playing under the old rules, and went to nationals. And it was, if you could lock that first freeze on, you were stealing. It was just a question of how many.
Right.
Which I think was a big part of the reason why they changed the rule. You don't want it to be like that. You still want that first shot to be important, and it is. Because certainly if you lock it on, it makes for a small scoring area, but the end's not over.
Right. Sterling Middleton coming in here with a draw into this mess in the forefoot. Looks like they might get it just angled onto the top blue rock. Another little bounce, but this one doesn't hurt them too much. It can be difficult to remove that rock. And, well, unfortunately, the blue rock, even though they bounced it open, is not easy to get rid of with all the junk in the back of the forefoot there.
No, the two in the top of the tee line are both going to be tough to remove.
Yeah.
I don't think, that's the thought here for Jim. He'd like to get to the pocket. Freeze the pocket between them. If whoever could get to that pocket first is in a much better position. It's a whole lot easier for them to remove the other team's stone, and this stone in the pocket's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Absolutely. And Jim Cotter trying to throw that rock now, as we said, trying to throw right into that pocket at the top of the forefoot, in between those two rocks on the top button.
Yeah, coming by the guard with more room than he'd like.
A little big, I think.
Yeah.
Kicks that yellow stone behind their blue rock.
Yeah, I think the blue is still shot rock. It's close.
So you could easily move that blue rock a couple inches. Don't really have to do anything to the yellow at some point. Not right now.
Yeah,
at
true.
some point, and get it to be counting. What do you think they're looking at here?
Well, I think she's trying to decide for sure who shot rock. I mean, it looks. I think it looks like blue, but keep in mind it's not uncommon that the darker rock will look like it's shot rock. It's just the optical illusion, the darker color. She's looking at it pretty close. It might be closer than I thought.
Middleton also coming down with a little bit of weight here. Should be all the way down to that blue in the pack.
And if
maybe
you
a
were
little
gonna,
bounce again.
if you were going to be warm, probably would have liked to get to the inside of that blue stone. Didn't.
Oh yeah,
That
for
left-
sure.
That leaves the pocket certainly in to the advantage of the Cotter team.
Yeah, you have a relatively large area where you can drop a blue stone in there and it is going nowhere and is a danger to that yellow one on the back button if that matters.
Yeah, I don't know if he can get second shot without getting right into the side of the yellow, but that's the advantage now with where that stone ended up. You could just chisel off that a little bit to get into the side of the other yellow and possibly be sitting two. They're not playing with a very big piece of ice here. Trying to draw to half the button. Or actually, because he's trying to get to the back half of the button, really he's trying to draw to a quarter of the button.
And right now working that rock to curl a bit as it is hanging out there and looks like it's headed to the... Well, here it comes. Can they get enough curl? It looks like it's still going to just get to the nose of that yellow. Leaving a little inch outside of nose.
How many blues
Yeah,
go away
may
on
have
this
left
one?
a double. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately just left themselves that inch on the wrong side where that blue will go and your back blue will go and the back four blue will go enough, even if it doesn't go very far, and no longer have to worry about. And the two, you hit this right, I think you do lose both blues on the top side of the 4 foot there.
Yeah, I think so too. And it might catch the one coming across the 8 foot. Not that one's looks like it's going to matter. You'll lose two yellows, the one that's in between the two blues and the one at the back 8 foot. But the other two at the back of the 4 foot, I don't see any way they even get touched.
Yeah, I agree.
With all the rocks that are going to move, I don't think anything even touches those two. Is he a little thick on the first one?
I think so. Oh, no, maybe got just enough to get to where, yeah, yellow looks like they are sitting two now.
Yeah.
Was a little thick. It wasn't as easy as it looked over it, from the overhead. It did look like there was a little more. You had to come very close to the guard to make that.
You did,
as well as
you
wanted
did.
to. Yeah,
Or get some finish, which is tough to do with the weight he was going to throw.
right. One shot left for each team here in the third end. Right now, McGillivray and Middleton sitting what looks to be two, pretty clearly, I think. So what do you like for the Cotter team here on their last shot?
I think all you've got is a guard on the blue.
Hmm.
All the angles in the house favor the M&Ms, and if if you go after any of those, I don't see them moving. Like the one you could actually get to is the one at the top of the button. The problem is I don't know that you can get to it with the in turn, and if you get to it with the out turn, you're probably just jamming it on the other two, and it won't get out of there. If you guard the blue, how do they get a third point?
Right. You are conceding two, but likely only two. You could. I mean, is there any play off your own blue to take that yellow off the top of the button?
I don't think you can get far enough to the inside.
I don't either. Yeah.
And here's the problem: if you don't guard the blue, they can come off the blue to get the extra point. In fact, if you nose hit the blue, it might be blue onto yellow onto blue. It could be for 4.
Very true. The final rock of the end without hammer here for Jaelyn Cotter. Looks like we are leaving that guard. Or are we coming in? I thought it was in the
Freezing.
top of the house in a guard, but it is going to freeze.
Freeze the pocket, which
Do
will
that
essentially
pocket
do the same
almost.
thing.
Yeah, don't really think there's a shot for 3 here, as you said. In
No.
fact, I don't see how you would at all.
You'd have to be able to get to the inside of that blue stone that's biting
Yeah.
the button, and you can't do that now with where that one ended up.
Yeah.
It's essentially the same as a guard without playing it in front of the house.
There's a couple players in the world who might try to, if they needed 3 to tie the game, come off that rock on the tee line way out there on the. I can think of a couple names who might try that. But,
Yeah, I suppose
about it.
you couldn't do yourself any harm, I don't think, playing it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I think it's too flat for even most players at this level. There are a few who would certainly give it a whirl. Maybe not in this situation either. You might just take your 2 here no matter who you are.
Yeah, I think this just the only reason they're not straight out throwing it away is because you only get to play as the last rock thrower in a doubles game. You only get to throw 2 rocks at end. You should try to get some practice on every one of them. So playing a draw here,
Absolutely. It doesn't even matter if they make contact with their yellow. Tap it in a little more. It's the same. It won't quite get there. That'll be a score of 2 for McGillivray and Middleton, who now take a 3-2 lead heading into the 4th end of our tiebreaker game here at the Vernon Curling Club.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
All right, welcome back to the Mixed Doubles Super Series here at the Vernon Curling Club in Vernon, British Columbia. We're looking at the tiebreaker game. Winner gets into the knockout rounds tomorrow morning, and after 3 ends, it is Team McGillivray and Middleton 3, Team Cotter 2, and the Cotters do have the hammer here in the 4th. And once again, we have another end that starts with the non-hammer team getting that freeze with a bit of an angle, this time in the back of the forefoot, and the Cotters coming down in the house in front of it. Not quite a freeze, as it turns out. A little separation there, but... And we draw the top 8 to start the end.
I'm just peeking at the line scores, just catch up myself as they're playing this end, and also part of that was looking to see how long this day has been for these two teams. Both of them were on the ice at 9 a.m. local time this morning. This makes for a long day.
Yeah, it's never easy. I imagine I don't know, have either of them played 2 games already today? Is this their 3rd game of the day?
I would bet they both have, but let me just double check on that. Yeah, Cotter and Cotter were back on at 3 o'clock. And McGillivray and Middleton were on at 6 o'clock. So 3rd game of the day for both of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, McGillivray and Middleton played back-to-back this morning. This is their 4th game of the day.
Oh, that's never fun. I've only done that a couple times. I mean, I was skipping, so it wasn't that a big deal for me, but the rest of my team was not very happy with that 4th game.
It can happen when you get caught into a tiebreaker situation. You know, to some extent, 18 teams, I think it was, that started the event here in Vernon, and 8 getting through to the playoffs. They played 3 pools of 6. It's actually a little surprising that you only had, this is the only tiebreaker. There's only 2 teams, well, there was actually 3 teams tied. One of them gets the berth through by virtue of it'll be the last stone draw prior to the game, the cumulative effect of that, and they only had to play off 2 teams for the last spot. That's actually, in my experience playing doubles, that can be rare. It's a lot of times you'll end up with 2 or 3 tiebreaker games. So you could end up with a lot of teams having played a lot of games.
Yeah, surprisingly, all 3 pools played very close to, sort of ideally. Like there was one 5-0 team, 1 4-1 team, 1 3-2 team.
Yeah, exactly. 2
of them went straight down to 2 and 3, 1 4 and 5. The other one was a little more messy at the bottom, but yeah, like for the teams that were relevant for playoffs, it just turned out very clean.
it does make for a lonely 4 players out there tonight when they've only got one game going on, and it's not even the same as with 4-player teams. You've got a few extra bodies out there. It's going to be quiet out there.
Yeah, very quiet. Not a lot of body heat on the ice either. McGillicuddy and McGillivray and Middleton are content to guard there.
And
I bet we're going to see some granite moving here for the Cotters.
When you started calling them M&Ms, I just went with that because there's a lot of syllables there. I was the one that was going to mess one of them up sooner or later. It doesn't help me either that last year calling a few Sterling's game in the 4 players, I can remember the names of all 4 players, so I've already got his name wrong once, calling him Jason Ginter. So
that's right.
And the 3 young fellas on that team were together with different skips for about 4 years total, I think. So it's almost strange to see them not playing together this year. 2 of them still are.
And Jim comes over the top a little bit on the run back attempt, but does remove the center guard. Opens up their rock at the top of the 8-foot. And for a couple rocks at least, this sort of resembles what you'd see in a 4-on-4 game. Center guard goes away, we put the center guard back up, and
yeah, although it gets late early in a doubles game.
That's the thing. Yeah, you're already on your skip's first rock if it's a 4-player game.
Only 2 stones left to come. I thought he might look at the double. You could still play this. I'm just a little surprised they didn't look at the double.
Yeah, given it's the second last shot at the end. It's the time to play it if you're gonna. This one needs to work over a little bit. Seem to be okay with it though. Probably does enough. Yeah, that finished well for them. Moves it pretty tight to the rings if they want to play it. Take another shot at the run here. It's a little shorter. Looks like that's what they're lining up now.
Yeah, I have to think he's going to play it. And you're right, the 2 of them being a little closer together, this guard a little tighter, it makes this a more makeable shot, if we want to call it that way. These are the shots that are made more frequently in 4 players, though, than they are in doubles. It's really tough when you've got a choice. You either come down, in this case, Jaelyn's come down to sweep, and now you've got the line caller is the thrower, which we all try to call our own line when we're throwing. We're not as good at it as somebody in the house. It's a different perspective.
Absolutely correct.
He's close. He's real close.
Looks right on. And bang there, double run back to knock off that yellow rock that was on the 4-foot. Leave blue sitting 2. We'll see a replay of that shot, I think. Although it looks like we're having maybe a little difficulty with the replay. That's okay. You just saw it. You can imagine it again. Huh. Does leave a potential double here to get yellow out of any trouble and at least force at worst.
Yeah, this is not a gimme either way, though. I'm not sure which turn they played. We won't know till she sets up. Looks like she's going to, as a left-hander, just to mess me up, looks like she's playing her in turn, which means she's got to come fairly tight to the yellow one in the 8-foot, because if she crosses that blue one in the back, she won't catch the second one.
Final shot of the end coming in for Megan McGillivray without hammer.
Nice rotation on this stone. That'll help hold the line. Sterling's going to have to help it a lot more, though. This is in danger of crossing.
And they get there. Just caught a piece of that back rock, enough to remove it. Use yellow sitting 2. Very nice shot. And there's a replay for us.
You could look at the release and that positive rotation, which on ice that moves like this, it's important to get that good solid rotation so that it can hold the line a little bit. That's almost counterintuitive, but the more you spin a rock, the straighter it will go.
Yeah, the idea of getting that extra rotation when you're playing on competitive ice, as someone who's kind of in between those two levels and plays on both from time to time, that is a tricky thing for people the first few times, especially they try playing on outside of their club ice or other club ice and play on ice that's been keyed up for a big event.
Well, and for a lot of us older guys, some of the ice that we used to play on, the surfaces and the rocks that we used to play with, you kind of learned that if you threw a ton of rotation, they were never going to curl, and that's not
at all, right?
That's not the truth with these rocks. They'll still curl at the end. That they start to curl when the weight comes off. But if you throw good rotation at the start, you could hold it out there for a little bit, and when they move so big at the end, that's important. And on a shot like what we just saw, where she had to stay close to the wide guard, it was huge.
Final shot at the end here for Jaelyn Cotter.
Tight line early.
Make a hit for one. It is a little tight. Should at least make contact. Is it enough to at least get it out? They're working that rock, and I believe she did. Yes, did not spin back. That will be a steal of one for Yellow, making the score a 4-2 in favor of McGillivray and Middleton. After 4 ends, we're at the halfway point here.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
All right, we're back for the fifth end in the second half of the game now here in the tiebreaker draw at the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling Stadium Vernon. I'm Ed Scimia, and I am here with Sean Joyce as we jump into the second half of the game. Team McGillivray Middleton with a 4-2 lead over the Cotters here. What did you think of the first half of the game, Sean?
Well, let's just go back to that last end. We were talking about it a bit during the break because we've been talking about with Megan's final stone how important that extra rotation had been in holding her line coming by the yellow stone in the 8-foot. It wasn't the tight guard you had to worry about. It was getting tight to the guard or to the rock that was already in the rings to hold the line when it curled at the end. And then we get you get to see the exact illustration of what happens with Jaelyn Cotter's stone. A little difference, the Cotters approached it differently in that Jim stayed in the house, so they weren't able to get a brush down until Jaelyn could catch up to it, but still started curling earlier, and you just can't hold it on this ice.
Yeah,
so she got the rollout.
Curling and
fortunate that she got that out. You have more...
Yeah, just made just enough contact to cut them down to one, which was
you have more courage than I do. You were calling it out before it had stopped spinning, and I've seen too many of those rocks spin back.
Oh, I know. I was a little afraid after I saw that thing. It's not out by much. Here it looks like just they were trying to play a little tap and did get that yellow rock in there, but not onto the blue and then rolled out. So potentially an opportunity here for the Cotters to set up an end, even though yellow is sitting one right now.
Yeah, if he can get just by his own and sit on the corner of that yellow becomes pretty vulnerable and pretty lonely all at the same time.
Yeah, blue would be sitting, we don't have the overhead right here, but I believe 2-3-4, maybe 1-3-4, either way. That yellow would be, it would be 1-3-4. That yellow would not be safe at all, and defense would become a little tricky with the Cotters having a lot of granite there in the 4-foot.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good coming into the top 4. Got by his own.
Yeah, that should do. It's
Yeah.
half buried and just a few inches in front of that yellow rock. The only way you're going to play that blue is probably onto the yellow. So now a little bit of thinking for the McGillivray Middleton team here about how they want to defend this with, as you said, that very lonely rock.
Yeah, I never know what to say about the Bluestones. We've always, the crew here that does the provincials in Saskatchewan, we've got the old jokes about who ordered all the lemons, who ordered all the cherries. Well, I don't know what to call the blue ones, but right now for the M&Ms, there's too many blue ones in that 4-foot area and not a real good way to get any of them out.
Blueberry is a little too on the nose, right? You know, it's like
And blueberries are darker
blueberry.
than that
Yeah.
too, yeah.
They are, yeah. I think they are trying to play this double here on the top 2 blues, at least to limit the damage. Doesn't remove the second blue rock, though it does put it in a spot where it's not going to be easy to get rid of that, as easy to get rid of that yellow rock. You could whack it over the top probably, but if you lost the back blue too, although the problem is there's a center guard in the way of all that, so
Yeah, it was always
we're
going
going
to
to be
get
setting up a rocket, right? Yeah.
always going to be tough to get both of them there. I'm actually surprised it went as far as it did. These stones are quite lively.
Oh yeah, we've seen a lot of action on these stones in all the games I've commented on this weekend. Some shots I was surprised by, just how much action they got, even just straight sideways off the rock, Real flat doubles across the house, that sort of thing.
Now, Jim could make the exact same shot he just threw, although this one looks like it might be a little warm. Or a lot warm.
Yeah. Needed to come down to have a chance to get a piece of that yellow at least, but goes to the back of the 8-foot, and that'll give McGillivray and Middleton a chance to really lock down the button here.
Yeah, just the way these 2 stones at the back of the 4-footer angle too. It's hard for Sterling to put this in a bad spot. If he undercurls, and I mean we saw that a couple of times last end, and gets down to the face of his own, he's still angled yellow onto blue, where the yellow that's there now, the one backing on the back corner of the button, it's not going anywhere. You'd love to cross it, don't get me wrong. He'd love to freeze the inside corner of his own, cover the pinhole, but
Sure.
I don't see how he gets bad line. Even if he doesn't get that line, I just don't see it being bad for him.
Yeah. Just don't clip your guard, and
Yeah, you're coming from this side.
fine.
All the angles are good for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. As you said, get under and get to the top of the button, and it is not easy to score right now if you are blue here with 2 rocks remaining. And yes, of course, he's looking at the run here, because I think you have to get rid of the center guard to have any chance of doing anything effective in this end. I mean, there may be other ways to get 1, but even that would be tricky.
And you just saw Jaelyn, and that's something that you see, and the teams have to do it a little bit in doubles. Turned around and let the opposition know, I'm going down to sweep, because there's liable to be some rocks moving here, and somebody's got to be aware to catch the dead ones so they don't bounce back into play.
Absolutely. Here we don't have to worry about bouncing back so much, but you have to worry about the sheets playing next to you. We don't have to worry about that right now, but last draw,
True enough.
Had at least one, fly into a house next door, and
We
on the
might
very
s-
next shot, when they put the guard back and peeled, the opposing player was in the perfect position to grab it the second time. Not the
You
first.
might want to protect the hacks on this one, depending
That's
if it cuts.
true.
Oh, it didn't even. Yeah, there you go.
Caught the top yellow, did not get both. Still a very nice shot.
And that was an incredibly a nice gesture by Megan McGillivray, because as the only left-hander here, that wasn't going to affect her hack. She could have let it go.
Right.
it was going to the one she didn't need.
The ice crew appreciates it if nobody else does. I mean, everyone will except for her, as you said. But yeah, in any case, that might, if 3 out of the 4 players are using that hack, it might have resulted in a call to a technician. So they're the ones who really maybe have benefited there. All right, we've got one more rock, and I think we're looking for McGillivray and Middleton to stack another one here on the 4-foot, maybe on the button, and just
ideally the exact same shot.
Yep.
Same shot for Megan that Sterling just made. Even though it's a blue guard now that they'd be running back, still it's going to be tough to score. And same thing goes that I said for Sterling. Even if she under curls on this one, it's hard to see the angles working out bad for her. That yellow-blue combination at the back, when she gets to come at it from what is her in-turn side, I just don't see any way that these angles aren't going to work in their favor.
Yeah, if you come up short, I think we're looking at Cotter throwing for 1, nothing more than that. If you make it great, then even that's going to be a challenge.
She's got good line. This might be a little strong.
It's a little big. Don't want to bounce that blue too much. No,
Sterling's looking, he's at the other end looking for the same thing that I'm looking for. Can she get to the inside of that yellow with some weight?
Yeah.
Certainly, you could do it with the run.
Run. I think it would have to be the run.
If you hit that
the back yellow.
If you hit it on the center line side, it'll drag by the back blue, I think. That's why I was looking. Could you get by it tight enough to get the drag? Because you'd have to hit 3/4 on the center line side. And you can just see all of it. I don't think you could get that directly.
Yeah, there's probably just little enough space that you'll get enough drag to avoid it enough, right, to get it out of there.
And they looked at it, but I'm not sure what they settled on. It's the risk in trying the run back is you might not get there at all. You can play this directly, go after the 2 yellows, throw it, probably have to throw it a little quieter to make sure you get to the inside, and then you're not likely getting the top one out, but it's a safer shot for 1, and that looks like what they're playing.
Final shot on the way here from Jaelyn Cotter in the 5th end. Looks like just a soft bump on these yellow rocks in the 4-foot for 1. If she wants to get to the inside of this yellow, just a touch if she can.
Yeah, just enough to chisel. But she might be playing it almost straight draw.
Well, that works too if you make it good. Ooh, cool. I think it's 1 yellow though. It's certainly close, but looks like 1 yellow to me. We're looking at the overhead. Who knows?
I think they both asked for the point now already.
Yeah. Well, they decided on something, and I think it's yellow 1, but I'm not 100% sure. As we'll see the scores go up, and we'll be back for the 6th end in just a moment.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
What do you got? You got 1, you got 2, you got...
Just 1 more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
All right, we're back here in Vernon for the 6th end of our tiebreaker draw here at the Mixed Doubles Super Series. Currently in the lead, it's McGillivray and Middleton with a 5-2 lead over the team of Cotter, and the Cotter team taking their power play here in the 6th end. And it looks like Megan there was trying to tick the corner guard and just kind of got it straight this time, which might open up some opportunities for the Cotter team here.
Yeah, no doubt. Left them overlapped, so a chance to bring another one around if they want to, and it looks like that's what they're playing.
Yeah, no reason to go anywhere else at this point. You've got, you said, those two overlapped guards out there.
If they weren't overlapped, you might see them split the rings, make sure they were going to get their two, but with them overlapped, this is a chance to build a big end here.
Absolutely. And Jaelyn does get a rock in behind those staggered guards.
Didn't cover as much as she would have liked.
No. And that's why we'll see Middleton here, Sterling here, come right down to that blue if you can.
Yeah. Stay on the corner, just stick it out a little bit past the guard, and they can make a play on it on the next attempt.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a nice line coming in. Is it maybe a little strong? He's backed away from it.
Maybe a little. We don't want to bounce off, and I think they will get that little bounce and
pushed it further in behind too. So
yep. Now, what do you think for the Cotters here? Are they going to hit and try to roll away to try to keep the kind of spread out the rocks, or is there? Do you play something to that side of the ice again?
Yeah, it looked like Jim gestured to come into the two blues, which really looks tough now.
Yeah, you have to get it over there enough that you don't want to be covering any of that yellow rock on the edge of the forefoot.
Well, I think he's trying to tap the one on the edge of the forefoot.
Yes. Okay, there we go.
And this is a delicate, because
okay. That'll leave blue sitting 3 all under those yellow guards.
Well, except the one he just threw is really mostly open still. I think it didn't look like the yellow was high enough to get that roll that he was looking for.
I didn't think so either, which is why I asked about rolling the other way instead, because
I would have been okay with that. You roll away once, and if they happen to roll out, then you got another chance to lob one around with a draw. It's just I don't think he could get the roll on the hit there. He rolled into his own and left most of that rock exposed. The middle blue's probably not going anywhere, but we've already seen a couple of shots where just how lively these stones are. If he can get close to all he can see of the one that just rolled over, the back blue is gone, and the one that was just thrown is gone. And even that one in the middle, it doesn't look like it should leave, but it might spin into the open as well.
Yeah, certainly couldn't move. I wouldn't see it leaving the rings, but you're right. It could spin back into the back towards the center line.
Very thin on the first one.
Yeah, it just makes enough contact. Removes the third rock, but the other two stay. Does pop that blue out into the open a little bit.
Yeah, but you could play it come around now on Christmas tree.
Absolutely. Yeah, you get any bit of a corner underneath that yellow guard, and it takes away really all the plays on those other two blues.
I need the overhead. I'm looking a shot ahead at all the angles. That tight yellow one, you can't see all of it. But if you leave this, there's a good look at it. They're talking about putting this up in the top 12 foot. Okay, so if you put it right where they tap the ice, can you make that tight yellow one go into the middle of the two blues?
To remove the two blues? It might be there.
Can you see enough of that yellow?
Hard to say. I mean,
it's not going to matter.
In any case, this is going a little deeper. And
yeah, which I think might be better because it cuts off.
I agree.
Those two rocks are side by each, and if you leave the run in, it's just a wide target to play the run in. And Not to say you couldn't still, but it's not those two rocks they'd be trying to make contact with wouldn't be even now. It would be the stone at the top of the 8 and the one at the side of the 12.
As you mentioned before, with the amount of action we're seeing on these rocks, I think Sterling's still looking at getting rid of 2 here.
Yeah, 3's not out of the question.
Yeah, because it could also.
It'll come off the off the top of the second one and could spin. It's interesting where he was paper thin on the first one. He's actually not looking for much thicker than that on this one.
No. Because the way it looks like he is hitting this one significantly
and he's going to get
thicker.
Much thicker, yeah. If he gets that hit on the first one, he gets a double. If he gets the first one on the second attempt, he might have had a double.
Yeah.
Now, as it is.
Likely going to have to. Maybe they won't. We need the overhead here to see if we need to play that. Anything on yellow. So you don't have to yet anyway. Well, there you go. Yeah, it looks like we're still 2 blue.
Don't have to at all.
Coming into the guards again. Yep.
He's not coming under the guards. He's going open side.
They have decided to go open side.
Yeah. I can
makes
see him
sense.
setting up with the interior. Well, you're never not getting 3 going to the open side.
Right. Exactly.
If you make it too good coming around, Megan follows it down, sits on the face, and takes away the 2 in the 12-foot. Well, you're never not getting 3 as long as you make this shot. This is in danger of sliding too far.
Think it's gonna hang on. Oh, I believe it's hard to say, but I believe it is just blue there for third rock.
It's really tough to ignore it, though.
But it looks like that's what they're at least considering, coming around that corner guard to sit 1.
Absolutely have to bury.
4, of course.
Yeah, absolutely have to bury here. It doesn't matter who's third. This has got to bury.
Right.
Because if you're up in the top of the 8-foot and have left a good piece exposed, yes, there's a lot of room between those rocks, but the angle for the double would be there. I mean, if you're, say, let's put it in between the I and the D and the Everton Ridge logo, if you put it right there, so just fully open, top 8-foot, there's a double there. Got to get this buried, and by the same token, you get this back 8, it's pretty easy to follow it down and move it just through for at least 3, and it could be 4. Big draw here for Megan.
Yep, final rock of the end for Megan McGillivray. Without hammer here, looking to bury a rock and prevent a big end for Team Cotter.
These are such a guess in doubles play. You just don't get to throw a lot of draws to the corner.
Yeah, always tricky.
This has got a mile of room coming by.
And this looks like it's going to be at least partially open. In fact, it's completely open. And they're not even taking time to look at the angles, so I'm assuming that they are sitting 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I'm not
and
sure.
In this case, would be a really tough.
Yeah, I mean it's probably there.
Yeah, this angle.
I think to me it looks like the blue is third shot.
Yeah. Well, the fact they didn't even look at it made me think that they're pretty confident that it's this is just a shot for 4.
I'll tell you what, I'm a little surprised Megan didn't go after the open blue stone. It's I get it. You don't want to give up 3, but this is doubles. That happens. 3, you're still only 1 down with last rock.
Well, in fact, they would be tied. They haven't updated the 5th end on
pardon
the
me. That's
scoreboard.
right. The 5th end is not there
Which
yet.
makes me wonder if a quick glance at the scoreboard might influence them there. But in any case, it's the last rock for Jaelyn Cotter, looking to make this hit and stick for, we believe, 4. This needs to curl, though. Although you do have the catcher. If it curls up enough, they won't need it. They will
Well,
need
if she
it.
touches the blue, it might only be for 3. It's only 3.
Now it is only for 3, yes. So you move the blue. Still for 3, still a nice successful end there for the Cotters. They'll tie the score up at 5 after 6 ends. 2 ends to go here in Vernon.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back to Vernon for the tiebreaker draw of the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling Stadium, Vernon. We're here in the 7th, and the only game on the ice is about the time that I would update you on other scores, but it's a tiebreaker draw. We've got just one game, and we're all tied up at 5 after 6 ends between the team of Cotter and McGillivray and Middleton.
I can help out with that if you like. Looking across at all the other sheets, there's no score on any of the other sheets.
Scoreboard now up to date as well, so helpful for the teams. The Cotters just took 3 with their hammer, with their hammer, of course, but with their power play, and we see going right back to the power play now for Team MM.
That was a huge extra point, though, that the Cotters missed out on there with a little bit too far of a roll.
For sure. I mean, the advantage of having one end with the power play versus one without in a tie game, you have to give the edge to the team that gets that power play end. I don't know if I'm sure someone has proprietary stats on that, but no public stats I know of that incorporate how many power plays each team has left and how many ends are left. That would get a bit complex, but in this case we could say when you're tied with 2 ends left, if you have the power play, you've got the advantage.
It's certainly hard to set up a steal when the power play is against you.
Yes. And I've noted even when the level of play gets a bit lower, at the very least, I mean, if you have a solid lead, it's extremely difficult to give up a steal more than one. Like, even if the other team is going all out to steal against you, what are they going to do? I mean, they only get the 2 rocks before you can start hitting, and you've got a threat on the side of the ice before the end even starts. Yeah.
No rock in the back of the forward to worry about jamming onto.
Right, exactly. Jim Cotter there, just chipping that yellow rock into the open. Pushes to the back of the forefoot.
Yeah, I will say as this end has started, the Cotter team so far, and we're only a few rocks into it, they've set up their defense against this power play a little better than the M&Ms did last end.
Yeah, those 2 blue rocks down to the corner yellow were very well placed. And this is a little heavy. A bit heavy, in fact. And I imagine we'll see Jim try to remove both of these rocks, maybe even get over to the 3rd one as he's pointing out.
Yeah, I'd be tempted to play it the other way. You hit it just off the nose on the center line side, rolled back towards the back of the button. because the angle on the blue-blue-yellow is pretty good. Here's the thing. If you roll, let's take for the example that he makes it the way he's looking at it and rolls into the side of that yellow, you've actually started to create as a little bit of a wall with the blues where they could freeze the inside corner. Right now, the M&Ms don't have anything that they could corner freeze onto. You could give them something by rolling into that.
Yeah, very true. And, you're probably, well, that was pretty nice, but you do leave, as you said, the area to freeze in there. And here we get the replay. We'll see the double end. The roll almost removed all three. If you removed all three, I think you're doing pretty well there. But leaving the
that third one that's still in the rings is not likely
shouldn't
ever
matter
coming
at this
back.
point anyway. Yeah.
But if you forget about the ones in the middle before he throws that, the angle behind there was nothing behind the corner that was good for McGillivray and Middleton, and now at least they've got something they could corner freeze to. It's not a lot, but it's more than they had before you threw.
It's more than they had, and if you roll the other way open, you're bringing the play away from the guards. You were already sitting one. You're now sitting two, with a good split. You have a very good chance of forcing at that point. I think you're right, or at least you're making them, if they want to play for more than one, they have to take some really tough shots at that point. Whereas now, as you said, you've given them something that's a little bit more makeable. You've given them a little bit of a pocket or a wall, depending on where they leave it, where it's a little bit tricky to remove it.
You let them keep playing around the corner anyway, and it doesn't matter whether you're playing 2-player or 4-player. You got last rock. You'd love to play to the corner. Now this is the difficulty though with playing to the corner. We talked about it with Megan's last shot last end. You only get one power play each game. There's not a lot of play to the corner, so they're guessing a little bit for line and for weight, because frequently the weight to the corner is going to be a little bit faster. There's more pebble out there, and Sterling heavy on both his draws, and really didn't get close on the line on either one of them.
No, neither one got where they needed to, and as you said, both heavy and just didn't look like the line was there in any case. Where do you want to put this rock, Sean? Because I think there's a few different ways you could go about this.
Yeah, I want to put it on the other side of the 4-foot, but
I do too. That's my first choice. Yep, and that's what they're looking at.
Jim's not wrong in thinking that, because again, as we talked about, the only shot they've got is to come down to the corner. So he was thinking about coming into a spot to take that away, and that's not wrong, but it's a tougher shot because you're playing now to a very small spot.
Right.
This is maybe a little bit more comfortable too. It's not right towards the pin, but it's in that 4-foot band, so the speed should be the same as what they've been playing throughout the game. They'll have a better guess at the line.
Yeah, this feels a little safer, a little more oriented to saying we're definitely giving up. We're definitely forcing here. We're definitely playing to force, I should say. There's not even a thought of maybe they have to draw against 3 or 4 or something like that.
Wants to get this,
but realistically, they were going to have a huge range to draw into anyway. But this could end up.
Yeah, left it high enough. You could play the hit and roll into the blues at the side.
I think that's the shot. You don't want to remove the blues, but you'd love to roll on top of them, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. You're still playing it. You want to end up with the corner freeze, but the hit and roll to that spot might be easier than the draw. And
it takes care of 2 problems at once. Yeah.
Certainly safer to play it that way, for sure.
Yeah.
But now you're into a path on the ice that you've played lots. To play a hit in this area, you've played it lots. You've got a better idea how this is going to run.
Mm-hmm.
It's never easy to make a 4-foot roll and stop it on a dime, but it can actually be a little thick on the first one if he's got some weight, and it does look like he's going to throw a little bit of weight at this. You can come into the top of that blue stone that's just at the tee line, maybe spin up into the one above it. There's a couple of ways this can work out good. You don't want to under-roll on this one.
Big rock here for Sterling Middleton as the McGillivray Middleton team looking to set up an end. Hoping to get this to move a little bit, but it looks like it's going to almost nose. Gets a little roll, not nearly enough. Leaves it wide open, which will give Cotter an easy shot to force here.
Well, and a steal's not out of the question. You hit this on the nose.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
I don't think they could nose it again.
Yeah, it would be very close. No, they wouldn't because of that. The rock on the tee line. Yeah.
So then you're drawing cold against the steal.
Yeah, drawing cold against 4, or do you just give up the 1 at that point, and take your hammer down 1 in 8?
Yeah, I think you're drawing, if only because it's such a common shot. You know the path pretty well, and you're going to have an unobstructed path on what will be the out turn side, because they have to mess me up with one left-hander. But it's there's not going to be anything on that side of the sheet to give her any trouble.
Final rock at the end here for Jaelyn. Cotter, looking to remove the only yellow rock, set up a force or a potential steal.
Yeah, she'd like to stay right there. The more it rolls, the easier it makes the draw.
Yeah. So it does roll away, does leave blue sitting 4.
She can play either turn now.
Yeah. Megan McGillivray will have the draw of her choice for 1 here. Needs a little bit more than fully.
She was already ready to play her out turn and had set the broom down. And I'm sorry, I think Sterling's overthinking this. Like,
yeah, it's just
you don't have backing anyway. Why are you trying to draw away from
the pin? Yeah. And that guard's too wide to be in the way from what we've seen.
Yeah, you could play it from either turn. You certainly could, but I think she was already mentally prepared to play this turn. If Jaelyn hits that right on the nose, she knows she's got to play this, and she put the broom down and was ready to play it.
Yeah, with no particular reason to go either way. It should be her choice and just throw the rock.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure what Sterling was thinking there to come to the edge of the 4-foot instead of to the middle. You've got thicker area, rings from front to back that you can hit if you're throwing to the center line rather than coming off of it. I think he's just overthinking it as far as which path they've thrown, but
sure,
you throw to the middle so much in this game. All the players are very comfortable throwing this draw. So much of this format is about draw to that center line. This is just a very comfortable spot to be playing.
Final rock at the end coming in from Megan McGillivray. Needs a good piece of the 8-foot for 1. And just going to take it to the back of the 4-foot. That'll do. Team McGillivray Middleton take a 1-point lead as we head into the 8th and final end.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
We're back live in Vernon for the tiebreaker draw of the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling Stadium Vernon. We got a 1-point game here in the 8th end with Team McGillivray Middleton leading 6-5 after they just scored in the 7th. Cotter down 1 with hammer.
And I hate to make it sound like I'm picking on anybody, but that big extra point in 6th that got missed. They stay for 4 there. We know we're not playing an extra end.
That's, yeah. Well, curling is not a game where there are a lot of points available. So whenever you lose a point that you feel like you should have scored, it is a big deal if the game is at all close. Chipping off the center guard here.
The later it happens in the game, the bigger it feels.
Mm-hmm. McGillivray Middleton looking to put a little bit of a clamp down on the fourth.
Nice line coming in if it's not too deep. Looks like it stopped in a good spot.
Okay, I briefly lost my connection to the broadcast. Sorry. I'm back. Yeah, stopped in a very good spot there. Tab 4.
Jim has called in the power brusher on this one. Nobody holding the broom.
And I imagine we're looking to move some granite here.
Yeah, I think he's probably trying to jiggle both yellows and try to set some stuff up behind the tee line if he could.
Yeah, if this were a tie game, he may just rip the guard. He may still go after that one of the top four. It's a very good rock. But in this case, yeah, definitely down one. Want to at least keep the option for a deuce open here. We're going to try to get in there. Oh, well, we clipped the guard if you're going to miss. Getting the guard out of the way doesn't hurt. And an interesting angle set up on those there as well. And the 12 foot.
A couple of things. You got the biter out of it, so if you ever had to blast everything out of the middle and they all left, there's still two blues in the rings.
Yep.
And they're also angled. It depends where you hit it, but it's certainly coming towards the 3 in the 4 foot. Having those two sitting there like that in the 12 foot also kind of changes the complexion of this end for McGillivray and Middleton. It almost becomes a spot where you have to play full out for the steal now because the force is almost impossible.
Sure, yeah. Those two rocks go, you're in a world of trouble. If they're there, you win the game.
He was hoping desperately for that one to stop, yeah. Nose hits awful close to getting all 3 of them. Certainly could get them moving. It's probably jamming the back one, but it'll start to be a lonely looking yellow back there.
Yeah, we'll open up the scoring area nicely and, as you said, leave it as the only yellow.
Should be able to keep his shooter. I have to think he's playing this as a nose hit. I guess you could try to play it over the top, but then you're probably coming close to disturbing those 2 blues on the side. And nose hit means you're going to have 3 rocks in the 12 foot at the top for the Cotters. Just got to come up a little bit over the top.
But they're sweeping it 4 over the top, which they did get one of them out and one moved. So there's only that rock on the back 4 in terms of what's in the 4 foot. Although if you're down 1, you really would have liked to have gotten rid of the second one, but still.
Moved one of the blues off the side though, but now the 2 blues are angled. It looks like to the yellow at the side of the 8 foot, and it might be able to make
possible, right?
Could make a double off the yellows that way.
If you ever have to, yeah, it's I guess you have enough room between those blues to manipulate the angle just a little bit too. I think.
Well,
not a ton, but there's more than a couple inches.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's put it in a spot too where Sterling can't hit the blues because it's coming back towards the yellow. So you're still not really playing for the force. You're playing. I mean, it's kind of a semi-force. You're not playing full out for the steal anymore, but you have to sit 3 in a spot where you're not giving up a triple.
Right. Final rock of the end for Sterling. It's his third.
it's hard not to leave a triple with playing. I mean, you're such a small amount of ice where you can still sit 3.
Mm-hmm.
He's not playing with a lot of space here. This looks nice coming in.
Yeah, it looks like a nice rocket. You know, when your goal here is to is most likely to force if you're playing that way. But yeah, now they're going to look at the angles on these blues and what they can accomplish here. What do you see?
I'm not sure the triple's not there, to be honest. It's paper thin, like over the top.
Sure. Just catch enough of that back left.
Yeah. And even if you only just get 2 of them.
Right. Are they playing a freeze down to the yellow in the back 4, though?
Looks like they're freezing the back one, knowing that if Megan just blasts it out, they've got a double for the win.
Jim Cotter's final rock in the 8th here. Looking to freeze that stone in the back of the 8-foot. Back of the 4-foot, I should say.
Line looks close. This might be a little strong, though.
Just a little big, huh? Ooh, just. And now for Megan here, the most important thing is you get this blue rock out of there. And ideally keep your yellow around somewhere too if you can, because just to make sure there's no shenanigans. But can't lose your. I mean, there's no way to lose your yellow and lose the shooter. So.
Yeah, no, I would. Well,
you could leave the blue if you did. That would be.
The rocks are lively enough. You could probably hit it 3/4 on the open
and
side,
still
the boom
get it
side. Get the 2 out, roll across, and into your own yellow at the side of the 8-foot. I don't think she's going to be throwing that kind of weight at this. You could just straight pick it out from the. If we look at
That's
the
what I imagine
from the right-hand side, and you'd be fine. It kind of looked like they were trying to hold the shooter with the call, and certainly if she's playing her in turn, she's coming across it. I have to think they're trying to hold the shooter. It's not critical to hold the shooter, but if you hold it, there's no worry about leaving any kind of thin triple that they might play.
Exactly. Final rock of the 8th end here for Megan McGillivray. Needs to make the hit here to make this blue go away and ensure, or likely ensure at least, that there's a force. They could take a look. I don't know.
It's a better angle for the triple now if you wanted to play it. They didn't even look at it.
No.
Boy, I'm looking at it. Quarter rock is close now.
Yeah, you're getting closer to
It's
that.
not as paper thin as it originally was.
No.
However, having said it, this is the kind of shot where in 4-player game they would probably take a run at that triple, because statistically you're not in great shape without last rock in the extra end. But in doubles, steals
certainly
much
better
more
chance
commonly.
yes, certainly a much better chance. Jaelyn Cotter looking for a hit and stick here on her final rock to tie the game here in the 8th end, send this to an extra end.
She rolled too far in 6.
The roll's coming, but I think she's going to catch just enough of that yellow. Yes, she does. Hangs on to a piece of the 4-foot. Ties the game. We are going to an extra end here in Vernon. We'll be back in a couple minutes with that final end.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Welcome back to the extra end of the tiebreaker draw here at the Vernon Curling Club in Vernon, British Columbia for the Mixed Doubles Super Series presented by Curling State in Vernon. I'm Ed Scimia here with Sean Joyce giving you coverage of the final end here. It is Team McGillivray Middleton with the hammer here in the extra end against Team Cotter. And need to get by the guard here. They just do. That's important. Did not want to leave two corners instead of a center guard. A little bit big, but they'll be fine with that. Much more important to get it by the guard there.
Yeah. But with moving that stone back into the back of the 8-foot, that makes this shot huge. If she could get the freeze on here, that means that by the time the Cotters open up room in the pin, it's probably starting to open up the 4-foot.
Yeah. It gives you the, oh no, this looks very
this is
late.
a long ways off making what they were looking for.
Because I was about to say that you even have the ability, if you play into the blue stone, to be a little bit heavy again, because you're just opening up the scoring area.
Well, you could. Yeah, you sure could.
You can't be light there and leave the guard, unfortunately, because now there's two center guards, and the Cotters have a chance to stack something right on that first rock and make it real hard to score with the hammer.
These kinds of situations can be unnerving at the best, and as we've talked about a little bit earlier on, this is the only game out there, only 4 bodies. It is going to be deathly quiet as they play this, which that always seems to pile onto the nerves a little bit more. Jim not able to get by.
Caught the guard again.
Yeah, decision time. Do you try the double on the blues, or are you more worried about the guards at this point?
I would be tempted to just remove the two center guards, because I think if you leave those there, there's always going to be a risk that Cotters bury something on the top 4-foot top button, and you've got to make something real good on your last.
They're looking at the draw here. I don't like this at all.
No. I mean,
if you make the draw perfect, he's got the angle in on the blue that he just... I think this is all about, at this point in the end, they should be making sure they've got a shot to score with the last one, and this is not how you do that.
This needs to drift off the blue rock in the top 12, it looks like it is by. Just barely by. Gets a little bounce. Still a nice pocket there for the Cotters if they can get in there, which again will make it very difficult to score if you can plop one right in there.
It looks like a tough pocket from this turn.
It does. I'm surprised you don't consider going the other way. It almost plays naturally into the...
It looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Edge of the yellow. Yeah.
Like you play the out turn down and get anywhere to the inside of your own blue at the back, and how do they ever get it out? And conversely, by the time you're by that blue in the top of the 12-foot now, it's real tight to stay on that side of the blue at the back button.
Sure. Yeah, you might be getting pretty close or over nose of your blue if you get by this blue. Or you may be playing
this
blue.
This is never getting by.
So you should hold and tap.
Yeah.
Or play a little wick off and at least get a guard of some sort. Yeah. No. Well, if either team makes the shot to this pocket, they're in great shape in this end.
Yes, but
now less so for yellow, because
there's
blue
a couple
has
blues
the
that could be
angle
angled
runs
in
there. Yeah.
It's a little more critical for Sterling here, and this is where it's interesting. They're coming at it from the side that I thought Jim maybe should have on the last one. He's still got to get to the inside of that blue stone at the back of the 4-foot, so that any of those angle run-ins is going to leave the yellow there. Looked like the indication there from Megan might have been that Sterling popped that back a little. Waiting on the curl, now trying to help it.
Certainly still has a ways to go, although it is moving. Still has a ways to go. The weight's right. You might at least get to the nose here. Okay. And now those rocks you can angle in are very important because that's the way you get rid of that yellow counter, or put something right in there if you,
You could still get there directly with a draw, too. He doesn't have to look at running these in.
You could leave that in case you need them for your last shot. Draw first, right?
I get why he wants to play one of them, because they're slightly overlapped. So if you move one of them here and don't happen to make the shot perfect, you leave the other one, and both draws are available. How does Sterling take both of them away, or all three of those shots away with only one? And I mean, if you ever make this perfect, which you could certainly do, what do they even have left? It's possible that if you hit this just perfect, you rattle it in between the two yellows, they both leave, and you leave your raised stone pretty much frozen on the blue at the back of the button. How do you get this one out?
Let's see first if Jim can put this rock in there. We are playing one of these angle runs, probably on the top rock, I imagine.
Looks like he's playing the back one.
He does play the back one. It's not quite enough, but puts it in pretty decent position there at the top of the floor. But it's just that's not easy to get to continue moving it the extra 6 inches you needed.
He had looked at both of them, and to be honest, as he threw it, but when he threw it, I'm not sure that he wasn't trying the top one, and it was a plan B call.
Yeah.
But Jaelyn, you can see, was sweeping to try to hold it straight. So certainly when they started brushing at the end, they were trying to play the tighter one in the rings, the one they could only see a small piece of, and it looks like it was the piece they needed to hit. This is a tough spot for McGillivray and Middleton.
Yeah, that blue rock's going nowhere and is going to,
and how do you take
easily
away?
Be moved into your exactly.
You got the double tap or the straight draw to tap it. I don't know how you protect against that. Looks like he's playing the guard on the double tap here.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be you're taking away the shot that's easier to you're taking away the shot that's easier to leave you with nothing. Like, I think a double tap is more likely to leave you with absolutely nothing on your last one. The draw maybe leaves you a...
Yeah, it's tougher to make the draw because you got that rock is overburied. So if you get to it with enough to move it, you're probably not getting to the nose, and maybe the shooter rolls off. This is going to drastically overcurl, though.
Yeah, it does still leave that little short run. If they want to play it, they're going to play it probably from the center line side, but...
I would think
you don't have to. You could throw it with more weight.
Looking at the way that Jim's just ran, you could probably still throw it with... His ran so very straight.
Yeah, and it was not a ton of weight. So maybe they are looking at that again, which is fine, yeah.
It's not gonna look great visually from the hacks to throw it this way, but watching the way Jim's just ran, it's there.
I agree. I didn't know how much weight she'd want to throw on this. That was my only concern, that maybe you're coming down on the weight a bit. You don't have that much room because of the guard. But if you throw a reasonable weight, as we just said, Jim's did not move much at all. So, and really, if you just make contact with the blue on the top four, you're good. I mean, any reasonably solid contact gets there.
Yeah, looking for probably about half on the contact on the first one. It'd be close anyway.
Jaelyn Cotter to keep her team in the game here and perhaps even give her team a good chance to win. Looking to run in blue onto blue.
This actually could stand to curl just a little bit, I think.
Will it make Yes, it will, and puts it right on the pin. to be tricky, but there may be shots here. In fact, I think there are shots here for Team MM as we look at the replay here. Got the line just about right. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, could have afforded to hit it just a little bit thicker. Would have left her the runstone in front of the blue. Mind you, I don't think they can play onto the blue direct and get it out.
No, I think what they're looking at might be the shot, right? This like rocketing off your own. I don't even know.
I don't know if this is there either. It's going to go into the yellow on the other side. It looks like they're playing direct onto their own stone at the back of the 4-foot, trying to come off it into the side of that blue and as much to the back of it as you can. I don't think you can get to the back. You look at where that yellow stone is going to make contact. It's still in a little higher. It's still going to be a little higher than the blue stone. So when it comes to the side, it's going to come into the side of the blue, which will put into the yellow at the edge of the 4-foot. And to me, it looks like that blue is still going to have more of the button than your shooter will. Now, we do know these rocks, they can get some good action, and she should be spinning in towards the middle if she hits it right. This, she set it back, though. I don't think this is ever.
Final rock extra end for Megan McGillivray. Does look like, yes, it's set out there, so.
You could see it off the release, trying to throw the extra weight. She just set it back a little bit and never had a chance to curl after that.
Yeah, no real drama on our final shot, unfortunately, but a great game. It came down to the last rock. Congratulations to Team Cotter for the 7-6 victory. That'll take them into the playoffs tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So you can come back. The Curling Zone will have all of the coverage of the knockout rounds here in Vernon tomorrow throughout the day. For Curling Zone and for my partner Sean Joyce, I'm Ed Scimia. Thanks for watching this game, and we hope to see you tomorrow.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.